John chapter 20, the resurrection. Ready? That evening on the first day of the week, the disciples were meeting behind locked doors because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders. Suddenly, Jesus was standing there among them and said, "Peace be to you." As he spoke, he held out his hands for them to see, and he showed them his side. They were filled with joy when they saw their Lord. He spoke to them again and said, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, so I send you." Then he breathed on them and said, "Receive the Holy Spirit. If you forgive anyone's sins, they are forgiven. But if you refuse to forgive them, they are unforgiven." One of the disciples, Thomas, nicknamed the Twin, was not with the others when Jesus came. They told him, "We have seen the Lord," but he replied, "I won't believe it unless I see the nail wounds in his hands and put my fingers into them and place my hand into the wound in his side." 8 days later, the disciples were together again, and by this time Thomas was not with them. The doors were locked, but suddenly, as before, Jesus was standing among them. He said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here and see my hands. Put your hand into the wound in my side. Don't be faithless any longer. Believe." "My Lord and my God," Thomas explained. Then Thomas said to him, "You believe me because you have seen me. Blessed are those who have not seen me and yet believe anyway." Jesus' disciples saw him do many other miraculous signs besides the one recorded in this book, but these are written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. All right, number one lesson that we learn from this is God is big enough to answer your questions. Remember Thomas, he didn't see the hands pierced, he didn't see the side like all the other disciples, so he had a hard time believing. He said, "Man, I want to see. And you see, God actually honored Thomas's request. He honored Thomas's desire, and he actually showed him himself the piercings to give him evidence of faith. Don't be afraid. If you're questioning God, if you're doubting God, don't be afraid to pray and say, "God, I need you to show me that you're real." I'm going to tell you, I did that in my life, and God revealed himself to me in a special way. But don't ask that question to God if you're not willing to actually put the effort in and seek him. Ask him, "Lord, show me yourself," and then read the Bible. Say, "Lord, show me yourself," and go to church and see if God shows himself to you. I promise that he will. But God also says, "Blessed are those who haven't seen and yet believe." You see, we don't need the evidence. We don't need a miracle. All we need is to put faith in what Christ has done. Blessed are those who have not seen yet believe anyway. What's amazing is the Great Commission is in this chapter as well. He said, "As the Father has sent me, so have I sent you." Just like Jesus was sent from the Father to do a mission on this earth, Jesus has sent you on a mission on this earth. Matthew 28 says this, "Go therefore, make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you, and behold, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." Guys, you are sent by God as well.